your May 2022 soul story. If you have a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, these readings are general, but they will give you some key astrological dates and intuitive messages that I hope will support you and help you feel more empowered as you move through the next few weeks. This is Romy. Thank you for taking the time to tune in. We're opening up your reading this month, Scorpio, with the Six of Cups. Sometimes we need to look back in order to be able to move forward. It helps us to make sense of things. And of course, we're into Pluto retrograde. We also are going to be welcome a Mercury retrograde in the sign of Gemini from the 10th of the month. And so you are kind of in that energy of a little bit of nostalgia and the sort of consideration of where you find yourself. Now, this season, we do have an emphasis around feeling a little bit under pressure. There's an urgency and a push and a drive to move forward, to adapt, to change. And there's a lot of things that are coming to a head. Sometimes we can purposefully put ourselves in that place of saying, not yet, I don't want to deal with that yet, I'm not ready to face that yet. So we slip back into those sort of patterns on a loop, those old memories or experiences that feel more comfortable or safe for us to be operating from. That's okay, but there is a directive really, I think, this month for you to kind of get on board with where it is that you're being led and you're being guided. There is a dizzying amount of information and of sort of revelations, I think, for you to consider. And so to make sense of it, to be able to process it, I do think that you are going to have to sort of look at the things that led to this point. And that's going to help you. So why am I where I am right now? You know, what are the experiences, what are the choices, what are the decisions that I made that brought me here? Now, that's not from a place of judgment or criticism. What it's going to do is help you more readily become open to the bigger change and shift that we see coming in. Because this is absolutely a month where there's amazing new strategies and solutions that I feel are wanting to drop in. And when we have a focus around the 7th house and we're looking at really important key relationships in our life and the network that surrounds us, there are rich sort of treasures really to be unearthed. And as we feel that sense of kind of being under pressure a little bit, we have to narrow our focus and really start to see where the energy is being depleted, where there are things that are not being tapped into, just so that we can start to address stuff in a way that's going to be really meaningful for us moving forward. So we enter into the beginning of May and we see Venus shifting into Aries. Here we have an assertiveness, a passion, a desire to be a little bit more free-spirited. Now there can be a level of frustration and intensity that comes in around that. Remember, Venus ruling our relationships to our sense of self-worth, our relationship to money, and, you know, importantly, romantically in our life. Ten of Pentacles suggests that you're looking for more stability and security in some of these areas. So what is it going to take? Sometimes, you know, the universe mythically, magically, you know, with fate sort of brings things to our doorstep and it just spontaneously happens. Other times we have to be really involved down in the trenches, actually making things happen for ourselves. And it's a little bit of both this month, okay? The first week of May is really auspicious. We have a Jupiter sextile Pluto aspect that comes in on the 3rd, and then an annual Sun conjunct Uranus that happens on the 5th. So really transformational breakthrough energy that's coming in here. And what it seems to me is that you can get a really powerful sense of what it's going to take to bring in a better sense of stability. You have to start somewhere, Scorpio, but what your cards are already suggesting to me is that you're not right back at the beginning, far from it. If you can actually recognize the advanced level that you're on, which means that you have to clear out a lot of stuff from the past just to create space for where all of that new energy and those new downloads are actually sitting within you right now. You need to remember in part of the process here, especially during this 7th house, that you didn't come here to be liked. You came here to be liberated. You came here to be challenged, to learn and develop and grow through those relationships and connections. And that 7th house is often the house of open enemies. And so we can sometimes feel the friction with people, or get caught up in that sense of sort of being unsure what people think about us, or worrying what they're saying about us. And especially as we have Mercury in Gemini, you know, that's now in flow, and with that retrograde, things can feel a bit hazy and confusing on that part here. We've got the energy of the moon just to emphasize that point. The thing is, you are such an important sort of conduit. You're like the bridge between the physical and the metaphysical, and that's really so important as we look at the eclipse energy between Taurus and Scorpio. And for you, I think it's about finding that sense of union between the work that you're doing energetically and then having some really clear guided actions that are deeply personal to you. That is what I feel is going to help you to break through any confusion, any deception, any uncertainty in regards to how stable you feel, what might be going on, particularly within family dynamics, you know, or soul family situations, or where there's, you know, bigger choices and decisions that are sort of fundamentally affecting the kind of foundations of where you find yourself right now. I think there's something about this month really highlighting for you what's missing. And, you know, there could be a little bit of sadness that comes with that. There might be a little bit of melancholy as you kind of recognize or feel that something has passed you by, or you've missed out in some regards. The really beautiful thing about that awareness, okay, not only is there healing that's coming up around that for you, but also as we approach your full moon, lunar eclipse, on the 15th of the month, it's coming in at 25 degrees. We have some really positive aspects with Pluto, with Mars, with Neptune. So we're being really guided to take action, but it's coming from this real spiritual place of having faith in what we need to let go of and what we need to release. And that is one limiting belief that does need to be dissipated and dissolved. The reason is because it's never too late, and there's always constantly new things showing up. You're running the wrong story on something or someone. And when you give yourself the opportunity around that full moon energy to really address it, to recognize where it's coming from, that's why the context of looking back is important. What you're going to be able to address for yourself is, gosh, I've been thinking this way for so long, and actually it's not really rooted in truth. It's perhaps rooted in my version of what I believed to be true. But here, you know, where we're acting in this sort of transitionary period, and we're really starting to address kind of key themes around our personal power, because often those stories that we've been telling ourselves about a situation or a particular person have been robbing us of our ability to kind of really step truly into that sense of power. I love that the Four of Wands is coming in, because this for me is the celebration, the recognition that you're coming to in regards to these really important sort of insights, you know, that are being flagged up. And it's about you feeling more rooted and stable from the inside out. And yes, sometimes that can mean that there's a lot of deconstruction energy taking place. You know, these eclipses tend to do that to us. There's showdowns between the sun and the moon, between the way that we manage our masculine and feminine energy, the expression between our inner and outer worlds, and, you know, things can change suddenly. But what we're looking at here is that you can do it. You're already doing it. You're going to continue to do it. This is a period of shedding for you. And every time you let something go, something beautiful is coming in its place. And there's such a karmic energy when we're during eclipse season as well. And especially for you in the South Node, you know, you are dealing with a lot of karmic contracts that are going on for you right now. So it's not easy. You know, it's definitely pushing and cajoling you and making you feel like you're under pressure. But if you let yourself be led into the darkness, and you know that you can work and operate well in the shadows more than any other sign, you know, here your instincts are getting honed, and you're starting to feel into actually the new energy that's coming. And that matters, because what's coming in for you has the capacity to turn absolutely everything on its head. Now, the other big news that we have this month, of course, is Jupiter is shifting into Aries from Pisces on the 10th of the month. It's going to be there until the 28th of October. Then it's going to dip back into Pisces and then shift back into Aries for most of 2023. So you get a little bit of a heads up as what's going to be taking place for you. Now, Aries energy, we know, is that 6th house, so it's going to be very focused around your health. also around your day-to-day rituals, routines, and how you're showing up to be of service in the world. Now, the Eight of Cups, again, is suggesting this emotional journey that you've been on. But here I see the readiness to release. And this for me is beautiful for you in the month of May with that lunar eclipse, because it shows me you're not fighting anymore. It shows me you're just saying, all right, hands up. Like I realize that perhaps some of the approaches I was taking weren't the best way for me to be able to kind of really embrace this growth. I'm ready for more. I'm ready to be different. I'm ready to kind of welcome in something that feels more in alignment with where my heart is right now. And so even though some of these experiences have felt like and continue to be like almost like electrical shocks to the system, we're kind of drawing a line on something here, and that's really important. We're drawing a line and releasing kind of foundations that were shaky and uneven, and coming into a time when we're really acting much more favorably to how our higher self is communicating with us. Now, this is making a big difference in terms of personal relationships for you during Taurus season, Scorpio. Yeah, so whether they be personally, professionally, romantically, you are in a state, especially with retrograde and Gemini, of like renegotiating terms. Yeah, you're renegotiating the kind of agreements that exist between you and another. And that's coming from a place of like, what is it that I need to let go of in order for this to work? What baggage do I need to release? Who do I need to change? Or who do I need to withdraw or let go? There may be an instance of you kind of having a total shake-up in and around, you know, a team, or perhaps within your friendship group, or professionally, people that you're aligning with. You know, more close to home on a romantic level, there may be some endings to relationships, and it may just be the ending of a particular cycle. But for some, there'll be a more permanent adjustment, because really what you're working through in the entirety of this year is this does not serve me, and therefore to move forward I have no choice but to absolutely like put this to bed and to draw a line, because I'm flexing up. And all of this is about building resiliency for you, and that's really important, because there's new ideas and there's something that I feel like is trying to get through. And it's one of those times where, you know, you feel like you've got an idea and it's just there, but you can't pull it out of your unconscious into your conscious mind. And that's because there's just too much going on. There's too much that is taking up your time and energy. And actually, is it even all that important? Some of it, yes, but not all of it. And so what we need to do is be able to, you know, find that gap for those insights and inspirations to flow in. Two of Pentacles shows me that you're being more adaptable. I think this is beautiful, because the fixed sign that you are, you know, when you bond to something, you become so loyal to that way, that approach, that person, that it's difficult sometimes, the blinkers are on, to kind of looking out and seeing if there is a better way. Mercury in Gemini is going to be really supportive of that for you. It's going to help bring in a little bit more tenacity for you, flexibility in plans. In fact, during retrograde season, we want to be as flexible and as light as possible. If you do have things that are in the diary, make sure that you have some contingency. Yeah, you want some backup plans, you know, just for this next few weeks. Mercury in retrograde is with us through till the 3rd of June. Now, it is going to dip back into Taurus on the 22nd, so it's not all in Gemini sign. But certainly in that first part of May, it is making a difference in terms of how you're communicating, the technology you're using, or travel plans that you're making. If you get too fixed on a particular approach being the only way something can happen, you know, we're going to end up feeling perhaps a little bit confused, or having to, I don't know, almost like it feels somebody sort of coming at the last minute and go, well, that's not going to work. And then you don't have time to kind of put something else in motion. That's what I want to say. You don't have time. Now, there's another message coming through here that I'm saying, make sure that if you're working on anything, that you have full sight of it, or that you feel the energy of it, because there's that sort of misunderstanding. And it just feels to me like, especially from a professional capacity, or if you've got people around you that you're relying upon or you're delegating to, they can interpret it in their own way, but it might not match your voice, your vision, or actually what it is that you need from that particular action. And so just taking a moment, an extra, 5-10 minutes to review something or just check in with something before it just blindly goes out, or you just ask someone to do something without double checking, that's going to be saving you an awful lot of pain through the course of this month. So keep that in mind, okay? Now we also have Mars shifting into Aries on the 24th, and it loves to be in this sign. So again, we've got this impulsive desire and drive and energy and that activation of the hero instinct within us. And I think that can be, again, really beneficial for you, Scorpio, because it just helps you to take stock of things and actually make sure you're directing yourself in the right way, so that actually you know this is worthwhile, this is worth my time, energy and investment. And that may be very specifically connected to things that have financial implications for you, but also in regards to important relationships here. The day we plant the seed isn't the day that we get the fruit, and yet your Seven of Pentacles suggests that there is something that is coming to fruition, especially because we have that full moon in your sign. So think back to what was taking place when we had the new moon in Scorpio last year, and during this 6-month period, what has been worked on and nurtured and cultivated by you, because you are set to see some of those things coming through, and I think in a little bit of a surprising way, which should also heavily positively impact your personal power and how influential you feel within a certain dynamic. It feels to me that people are going to give you more validation for your input, give you more recognition for what you've done previously. So you should get some sweet relief and some positive energy that just kind of helps you feel like, okay, this is worthwhile, I'm going to keep pursuing. But it'll also flag up those things where it felt it's been a bit flat, and it's perhaps like the time to just even temporarily put something to the side because you're just not seeing the traction and you're not getting any kind of momentum building from it. And the longer you try to lament something, it's just depleting you. So this is also a month where I feel like you're going to cut something out or definitely put it on the back burner. We have a couple of the asteroid goddesses also shifting this month. So Ceres is moving into fellow water sign Cancer on the 15th, right on that full moon for you. I like this because she's bringing some nourishment in the sign and really helping you to reconnect to your roots. Again, I think this is helpful as you're looking back or perhaps revisiting or having some people or things from the past coming back up to be addressed and reevaluated. Ace of Cups suggests that in this moment, there's a deep recognition that even though you may feel a bit of overwhelm, that water is kind of pouring out right now, that actually, you can redirect some of that energy into something that's going to feel like it's actually healing for you. Do you know? So, if you're experiencing something on an emotional level, let's think about what can address this. Is there a healing modality? Is there something that you need to change in your diary that can just support the space to be able to clear that out? Left unmanaged, it feels like it goes from a gentle stream into kind of a raging torrent, and it could just end up just feeling like super, super like over, I don't know, just like shutting you down almost. It just feels like I can't, I feel almost sort of paralyzed. It's just like there's just so much around me going on within me. But I also have this sense again where we let go of something, we then invite this beautiful new energy that's wrapped in like a really sweet, higher, loving, vibrational energy. And it's because it's being fueled from a place of like love, like you're letting go of something because you know it's what's right for you or right for the other person or right for the situation. So that takes bravery and courage and guts. And really from that place, we're being fueled by love. We're being fueled by, our higher self. And there's always a reward for that kind of an action. Now, for sure, sometimes these eclipses means that things happen out with our control, or it feels that way, very fated. The rug gets pulled and the ground shakes beneath us a little bit. And so you are left in that moment of trying to sort of scramble around and pull things back together. But again, your Two of Pentacles tells me you're actually in a really perfectly poised place to be able to kind of operate in that kind of a chaos. And actually it's deeply transformative. I love the energy of death coming through. Of course, you're linked into this sign in the tarot, which means that there's a rebirth happening. literally this month for you, incredibly transformative in what your experiences mean to you on a deeply personal level. Now, yes, something might end, but through that process of it clearing out, there's just like an intense sense of, okay, like line drawn, now what's next? And there's just like this kind of, I don't know, it's like an overwhelming feeling of determination, perhaps that you've not felt for a while, or is certainly going to like next level is kind of what it's showing me. And I don't think anyone's going to be able to mess with you in that energy, you know? That's where the fixed sign comes back in. I just feel like you are absolutely zoned in on something. And it's just like, this is going to work. There's just no if, but maybe about it. And when you kind of apply that part of your natural essence to a situation, and it's fueled from this place of kind of having created space, oh my goodness, like watch out, world, is what I want to say. So we have the new moon in Gemini coming in right at the end of the month on the 30th. And that is 8th house for you, which you're the natural ruler of. So again, we have this big emphasis around power and influence and empowerment for you. Of course, it talks about death and rebirth and shared resources, and there's a lot of emphasis around money in relation to this other people's money. And so you may be considering or looking at wise investments or having access to funds that previously were unavailable to you, but there's a lot happening for you after that full moon, and then between the 15th and the end of the month on the build up to that new moon in Gemini. Use the retrograde energy as that deep kind of soul searching. Remember, where people are coming back from the past or we're being invited to revisit stuff, it's not by way of punishment. It's not by way of throwing your nervous system out. It's absolutely an opportunity for you to see how far you've come and to make some course corrects and strategy changes. And remember what I said, like there's amazing new strategies that are coming through for you this month. If you keep shedding, what we're going to be seeing is like this beautiful, shiny new version of you that's kind of emerging. And I think people are just going to be like, wow, what happened with you? Like, it's just, it's like you just stepped through like this portal and you just became somebody else. And I think it's just, you let go of something that's heavy and grey, and all of a sudden, like, there's just these vibrant colours coming through in your aura, which I'm tuning into, that are absolutely exquisite. So let's have a look at the oracle cards for you. Okay, you have the Mystic Rose: compassion, devotion, humility, humanity, grace. You have to find ways to be compassionate with yourself. In the process of shedding, letting go, or kind of working with the cards you've been dealt with at this moment, so to speak, the only way through is really one of deep forgiveness for the self, for everybody involved, for the past, for the present. And that's the energy you want to be wrapping around as you're making intentions for where you're going. And there is a humility that comes when we've been knocked on our ass several times over, right? And that leveling makes us so grounded. It makes us so clear-minded. It makes it easier for people to connect to us, because we approach things from a more transparent, vulnerable, authentic energy. And that's what I really see emerging for Scorpio through this month. And I think that's really important, because at times you can feel it can be difficult, I think, for people to find an access point to connect with you, because you have that sort of air of sort of untouchable or kind of slightly disconnected, and you've got that magnetism, so you're drawing them in, but then I just feel there's that disconnect that may have been something that people were experiencing, and there's a kind of dressing of that is going to work really favorably for you, both personally, professionally, and in your your close friendships and community sort of relationships. So watch how that plays out really in a beautiful light for you this month. Okay, so your Moonology card, Scorpio, is the full moon in Aquarius. Be real. I suppose just a continuing of that message there, really. I love that the water is flowing here and kind of lit up with all of these stars, and we have this gorgeous full moon. So, I think around that time where we've got the lunar eclipse, it is about just embracing the uniqueness. Being as honest and direct and transparent with yourself and others is going to be really beneficial. And again, that Aquarian energy is sort of tapping into a lot of those future strategies that I see coming through that are going to be incredibly exciting for you. I think you're sort of charting a whole new course in terms of some of your life plans. And even though you may have felt like it's too late or it's crazy to think that I could begin this now, it's not. It really isn't. You know, this is like a brand new cycle emerging for you. And, you know, I want you to be filled with an anticipation of kind of where that can lead, because it's easy to get super jaded and feel really disenchanted when you observe or you tap in too much to what's going on within the collective. Okay, let's have a look at the Oracle color cards for you. Chocolate. Beautiful. Nourish your body and soul. There's something really decadent and luxurious about that, isn't it? And taking time for you. Again, that compassion, that devotion to your self-care. You had Ace of Cups coming up. You know, the richness and the ability to be able to kind of luxuriate in things that make you feel good are what changes your whole vibrational energy. And then puts you in the right mood. It just puts you in a better mood when you've had some rest, some time out, you know, some opportunity to be around the people or the spaces that really nourish your soul. You know, we have to kind of find that sense of balance for ourselves. And that nourishment, you know, needs to be understood by you, and it needs to be prioritized by you this month. So don't skip it. You know, too much neglect is going to be part of the reason that you feel like you're going to be spinning out much more than you have to through the course of this month. But I think it's a, you know, incredibly powerful time for you to witness some of the deeper changes that have taken place for you from a spiritual perspective. Excuse me. And that's a version of you never get to kind of experience again. So, you know, relish in the sweetness of that. And enjoy it, because it's on the way to becoming something really epic for you. So I also have my own Oracle deck coming out, Scorpio, Life Soul Vision. If you hang on to the end of this video, I have added on a little screen grab so you can get an extra bonus message. And the link to pre-order the deck is also there. So I can't wait to start using that with you. Now, this is a general reading for May. I am going to go ahead and invite you to think about a personal question that might not have come up in the main spread, and what we will do is pull a couple of cards for that now for you. If you're new to the channel, you can find a link for the extended version of this reading in the description and the comment section underneath. It's a way to support the channel so I can keep delivering free content, and also you get to have another 20-25 minutes of insights for the month ahead. So thank you if it resonates and you want to join me. So okay, we're just going to clarify. Six of Cups, we're bringing in the Magician energy and Judgment. Nine of Wands. Okay, Ten of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles. So a lot of stability actually coming through for you this month as well, which I do like. The Moon, Justice. There's that karmic energy coming through. Ten of Cups. And the Fool. Beautiful. Got another Seven of Pentacles here. It might be an awful lot of consideration around work for some of you through the course of this month. Queen of Pentacles coming up, crossing that Eight of Cups. And the Nine of Pentacles. Fire energy coming through with the King of Wands there. Another Eight of Cups. Might be some new romances on the horizon for some of you in May. Scorpio. Pull one more card here. World. Beautiful. All right. I look forward to continuing this conversation if you're joining me for the extended. Otherwise, I wish you a beautiful month of May. Enjoy that stunning lunar eclipse in your sign this month. You take care.